Greetings, my creatures of the night.
Sup?
Why do we always meet up at night? Are you ashamed of us?
Very. But also the vibe of spooky stories by the campfire just feels right at night. I mean, after all, it's not called Are You Afraid of the High UV Index?
I have to agree. If it wasn't night, you would just be a regular clown.
And you would be in a storage closet with the rest of the Halloween decorations.
Exactly, we're all friends in the dark. Maybe more like acquaintances.
Business partners, maybe.
Co-workers, perchance.
Either way, we're back at you with another new episode of Scared of the Dark, and today we're watching a hot new Are You Afraid of the Dark? This story is called The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors.
We're more like nightly roommates.
Exactly, except I pay all the bills and you two refuse to leave. Either way, The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors is the story of an odd family that moves in next door when a sudden virus goes around the town. I'm sure we've seen it before, but have we seen it with a freezer full of blood? I don't think so. So, everybody look out your window and get ready for The Nightly Neighbors.
Why do we always tell scary stories at night?
At the gathering of the Midnight Society, Kristen, Gary, and the rest contemplate exactly why it's better to tell scary stories at night rather than the day. Betty Ann cuts the conversation short and prepares to tell her story before Eric says her stories are boring because they always have happy endings, which is weird because every story so far in this series has had a happy ending. So why is Betty Ann getting called out for it? Anyway, Betty Ann shrugs off the comment and submits her story, The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors. The story starts with a boy watching the intro to Night of the Living Dead before being scared to death by his older sister. The sister, Emma, tells her brother, who is apparently named Day-Day, that if he just watches TV all day, he will turn into a fat slob like their dad.
Great! If that happens, I'll send you to your room. Forever.
This all seems unnecessarily confrontational, but Emma is already moving on to the next thing, which happens to be watching her new neighbors move in the middle of the night. As the kids watch and make snide comments about their clothes, the neighbors all at once turn to watch the kids, causing them to stop watching for the rest of the night. The next day, the kids decide to go greet the new neighbors and arrive just as a shipping company is delivering 2 massive boxes to their door. The kids learn from the shipment that the family's name is Braun, and they arrived from the Ukraine. The mover claims the 2 massive boxes are Russian refrigerators that the Brauns had express shipped overnight, as well as telling him to leave them in the driveway if they got delivered during the daytime. The kids think that's pretty strange, especially since the Brauns' car is still in the garage, meaning the family is definitely at home. Shrugging off the neighbors being introverts, the kids head back home where their mom is running late, so she knocks over an old mailman.
I'm late. Bye!
The kids help him back up, but notice he has an odd neck wound and is complaining about feeling like his energy is completely drained. The mailman says the Brauns stopped by his house last night to get acquainted, and whatever happened on that night caused him to start feeling the way he does now. Hold the goddamn phone.
I don't have a phone.
The metaphorical phone.
Is that an android?
I'm an iPhone guy. I can't have those green texts.
Will you two shut the hell up? We have important story development. Vampires. Now, when you deal with vampires, you have several rules you should be following. Rule number 1, A, B, C, always be covered in garlic. You know, you might have to risk smelling like you switched to crystal deodorant, but at least you won't get bitten on your neck. And like the Wu-Tang Clan says, protect your neck. That's not a rule, that's just, it goes hand in hand with the garlic. Rule number 2, cross up. Even if you have to pretend, just wear crosses everywhere. They're not gonna fuck with you. And then rule number 3, you can't spend a night. Vampires are oddly particular about following rules about being invited, much like an introvert. They're not gonna come unless you specifically tell them to, and you can use that to your advantage. You know, so keep that in mind. And if you follow these rules, you might just make it through the night. Now, let's tune back in and see how the kids do. The next night, Emma is taking out the trash when a Braun makes first contact.
Can I come in and play? It's kind of late.
It's pretty strange for a boy you've never met to ask to come inside your house and play in the middle of the night, but Emma turns him down and he walks off sadly. Days go by and Emma watches the Braun family, noticing they only leave at night. Their son Lex doesn't enroll in school, and the whole neighborhood is affected by the same lethargic condition as the mailman, paired with similar neck wounds. After days of observing the Brauns, Emma has a dream that Mr. Braun flies into her bedroom at night to feast on her neck, causing her to finally connect all the dots and realize the Brauns are seriously behaving like a bunch of vampires. Emma rushes to Day-Day's room to lay out her case and get him on her side, but naturally he doesn't believe her. Emma decides she's going to break into the Brauns' house and find their coffins that night, and if they have no coffins, she'll drop the whole thing. That night, Emma waits for the Brauns to take their nightly stroll before she commences the breaking and entering. She sneaks through a window leading to their basement and starts the search. But meanwhile, the Brauns have just showed up to Emma and Day-Day's house. Despite Emma telling Day-Day specifically not to let the Brauns in, he immediately fails, and now they have 3 potential vampires in their home. Day-Day's mom sits down with the Brauns like a good host and asks about their line of work, which they claim they're both paramedics that work the evenings.
It's absolutely fascinating work, although sometimes a bit, bloody.
Which as a vampire would help with a steady blood supply. As quickly as they got there, the Brauns get up to leave, claiming they just wanted to come by to say hello. Day-Day tries to stall the family, but Mr. Braun says now that they have an invitation, he will be seeing them again soon enough. Meanwhile, in the basement, Emma only found 2 fridges that are padlocked. After picking one open, she gets jump scared by Day-Day, who rushed over to let her know the Brauns are coming. Emma opens the fridge door and finds hundreds of bottles of unmarked blood. The kids hear the Brauns arrive and rush to cover the fridges back up, but forget to relock them. Okay, so these kids are pretty terrible vampire hunters. Day-Day failed immediately and let the vampires in his house, and Emma took what seemed like 30 minutes to walk across an empty basement.
She also had to pick that lock, too.
Even worse, she forgot to put the lock back on. They're obviously going to know that she's been there.
They just painted the big vampire target on themselves.
Exactly. Emma probably would have been better off staying with Day-Day and avoiding the vampires. Either way, Day-Day and Emma are prime vamp victims now, and they're painted in a corner. How are they going to get out of this one? Let's tune in and find out. Day-Day and Emma are convinced that the Brauns are vampires, and even worse, they have a full invitation to their home. Emma decides they can't wait to see how this plays out, so tomorrow, right after school, before it gets dark, they're going to break into the Brauns' house and kill them all. The next day, in just that short amount of time, Emma gathers wooden stakes and crucifixes, like she already had these vampire bug-out bags pre-made. She forces Day-Day to follow her into the Brauns' basement again, and the two start picking the locked door they think the coffins will be. As they try to break in, the lights cut on and Mr. Braun walks directly to the kids trying to hide under the table. But somehow he doesn't see them. Maybe vampires are blind. The kids are too scared to continue and bolt out of the basement window. But just as they do so, the Brauns are walking outside in the middle of the day.
I thought you worked at night.
We did, but the schedule changed, thank goodness.
The kids are relieved that they don't have to commit murder on 3 undead creatures and go home to laugh off the silly thought of vampires being real. Meanwhile, the Brauns are loading up the fridge with more blood when they wake their master, who turns out to be Lex. Lex was the only vampire, and the Brauns were just his familiars. A twist ending. Oh my god, it's a twist ending! You got your goosebumps inside of my Are You Afraid of the Dark? And just when we were complaining about all of the episodes ending on a happy note, we finally get a town doomed to vampirism.
I truly did not expect that.
I don't think anyone did, and that's what makes it such a perfectly executed twist. They spent all these episodes before establishing themselves as writers that do not do that type of ending, and then they do it. Brilliant! The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors was cheesy in all the right ways, and really, with a series like this, that's all you can really ask for. And so for that reason, I'm going to give The Tale of the Nightly Neighbors 5 bottles of blood out of 5. Check it out. Especially if you see some new neighbors move in, and they only operate at night. they could be working third shift, or they could be motherfucking vampires. So, you know, if you see Dave leave for his night shift at 11 p.m., just go ahead and throw some garlic at him. Maybe sneak around his house in the middle of the day. See what's going on, because nobody works third shift, especially paramedics. Get him out of there. He's lying. All paramedics are lying to you. Don't trust them. Don't trust them. Don't take the medicine. Stop taking your medicine. Stop taking your medicine. Stop taking your medicine. Stop. Huh? Yeah, I'll see you guys next time.
We can play video games. It'll be great, right, Lex? Maybe not.